out of your mouth has to be about stopping Trump. I will share a good story about Biden, about you, and the reason why I do highly, highly respect him. Do I think he's the best for the president? Hey, good morning, good evening. How are you doing? But
Wonderful.
real quick, just Biden is the first and only person to do a law to protect victims of domestic violence. And he did this back in 1997. And he is the only one to keep pushing that law every year to try to get, because you can write a law, but it doesn't mean that there'll be a means to enforce it, right? So he got the law passed, and then he, every year he tries to get the means to enforce it. It doesn't mean that a president will pass it, but he got funding for it to help protect victims of domestic violence, and that was a big push on his part. Nobody really helped him. He did it all, for himself. What a lot of people don't understand is domestic violence is 12 million victims a year, a female only. If you add up the children, it's about 24. So you're looking at well over, 30 to 40, 50 million victims per year. Each time there's a murder, it costs us $8 million. And, it's a $2.5 billion crime in this country, yet nobody does anything about it except Biden. So since 1997, he's been the only one to implement this law, to push it. Every year he's received funding or managed, every time a new president comes in, managed to get the president to sign it. I even have Obama signing to help enforce it. And then Trump comes in and he cuts the budget. He doesn't improve the budget or implement it. The other thing that people don't understand is that it's the most dangerous crime a law enforcement officer is dispatched for. The most dangerous crime a law enforcement is dispatched for. In fact, it's become such a problem that officers, if they are aware that it is a call for domestic violence, are not allowed to go alone. There must be more than one officer. So that's the good thing that I can say about Biden is that he will push things through to make them right. He's got a very strong common man background, even though he's lived very wealthy in his later years. He grew up in the common family. He understands what it takes, and he's military. And I think that that's what it's going to take, is somebody with some common sense in military, because the first thing that should have happened in this pandemic is somebody should have done a complete assessment and accounting of every hospital and all the resources and supplies we have in every hospital. Because I hear some people go, oh, we don't have a big problem here. We got plenty of resources. I don't know why everyone's complaining about not enough ventilators or not enough masks. And then you got hospitals that are overwhelmed that don't have enough of any. And we could have said, okay, we have it here, but not here. Let's ship it. And that's what the military can do. That's the mindset. Trump didn't have that mindset, nor did his staff. So yes, and Kit.
So, Kim, what I realized that after the 2 years of 2 months of lockdown, and a lot of countries are doing their bit to minimize the current pandemic situation in their own country. But the important point is that countries with limited resources, they are doing good as compared to countries with more resources.
Right.
Because with more resources, it's like taken for granted. They think that they will be able to manage it out with their money, with their power, with all those things. But country with limited resources, they know that they have this much amount of resources and they have to manage within this resources. And no one will come forward and help those countries, because those are not superpowers or countries with good amount of dollar note. So I think it's more about how you manage your own home and how you manage your own neighborhood, and then how you manage your own city. That is more important. That we are talking about country. If we talk about zones and then we talk about cities, I think that would make much more sense, because dollar is not giving you any kind of help at this point of time. I've seen a lot of news on about Trump, and Trump is everywhere on the news. Every day you'll find something or the other. And yesterday it was talking about hydrochloroquine. He said that I'm taking it from a week and all those things. I don't know what he's trying to prove, but it's not about the ego factor or things like that. It's about how to overcome the pandemic in the current global scenario, and not about your own personal scenario or maybe your country on what you do and how much stimulus you provide to everyone. It's all about the best practices. And we are utilizing our resources. I mean, I can see there are a lot of resources lying up. We are not utilizing it. But I think countries like Hong Kong, countries like Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, they are doing tremendous job as compared to bigger countries like US, UK, India, and others. And you can see all the top countries are at the top 10 list of coronavirus victims.
No, and I agree with you. And that it is about how you utilize your resources and work together. And the countries who have limited resources understand that, and I think they do work harder. Whereas we have been self entitled and self righteous and greedy for so long that. And it doesn't surprise me that Trump is up there touting that he's taking this hydroxyquine. And every day, because if you recall, we've had doctors come on our show saying that they were requiring the doctors and the medical staff to take it as a preventive, right? They were taking it, but I think they all stopped it because it's actually not a medication that you want in your system all the time. It's truly a symptomatic medication that they used for malaria. I think sometimes Ebola, but it's a systematic drug, not a preventive. But we have a guest here. So I am really horrible about pronouncing names. And so give me a minute here. But why don't you share with us who you are?
I would like to welcome Mr. Narayanmoorthy from Hong Kong. And I think Narayanmoorthy ji can himself introduce and about what you do and where are you from. And also for our viewers, can you also define the meaning of Narayanmoorthy? That would be great.
Yes. Welcome.
Say it again. I didn't hear the last part.
So if you can just say who you are, introduce yourself, say who you are, where you're from, and explain to people what your name is. Apparently he said your name means something, and what you do.
That would take really all evening. As it is, my name itself is my name itself is very long. Okay, my name is the S part of it stands for my dad's name, father's name, and the N part of it is my actually first name. So it's one of your long first names. So it's Narayanmoorthy, and the S stands for Sundarsan. That's my dad's name. Of course, as is the practice in India, typically you will find, especially among the Hindus, the children are named after the gods. Okay, so I think possibly the bright idea was that, possibly during the formative stages, the parents would possibly have to scold the children. So, each time you scold the children and you really call out their names aggressively, you're actually calling out the name of the god. So, you are kind of accumulating on your karmic brownie points. So, so that's part of the introduction. So I'm originally from India. So I've been in Hong Kong for about 25 years, and basically been running a information technology line of work. And also I'm very much in the entertainment sector. And in the business front, now I'm in the recruitment headhunting space. So this is to cut a long story short.
Headhunting. So that I love that term, headhunting. We are headhunting. But no, that's a very important job in this day and time, is to match people with jobs, basically. Right? Hello. We have Rakesh here from Hong Kong. Rakesh, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
So anyway, we have somebody. So explain to us, what kind of technology do you specialize in? Any technology? I'm going to get this right.
Narayan.
Yeah.
Narayan.
Just make it simple. You can call me NNNM. N for Nancy, M for mother.
Mother.
NM is fine.
NM.
So for non-Indian people, I am NM. It's very, very simple.
How about Narayan?
Yeah,
Narayan?
so actually, to
I like that. Nara.
Yeah.
So Kim,
I don't know. There is.
I think Narayanmoorthy will basically. Yeah, but then we had a god whose name is Narayan.
I'm not very happy. I'm not.
I'll get it
Unfortunately,
eventually.
I'm not very happy with the audio.
So I'll get it. I'll get it eventually.
Okay, I want to touch upon the point made by Ankit earlier about the countries and how they have tackled the issue. So, like I mentioned in my previous appearance here, there is a lot of accountability which the individuals themselves need to take. It is not only what the government can do for you; it's also how each individual takes it upon himself or herself to exercise concern, exercise caution, and all precautionary methods they need to undertake. So, in those places where there is some level of self-discipline, I think the result can be much more effective. And so, it is not just about the resources, but it is also the fact that how the individuals take it up and how they take up ownership. This is what I wanted to add to what Ankit was saying.
Okay. No, and I think you're absolutely right. But now we're having to do some things to rebuild our economics. People are getting a little antsy, a little aggressive. They don't like to be restrained from their work environments. So no, but I agree with you on that. That's definitely well said. What are some of the things that you're going to foresee moving forward as a headhunter? I mean, how has this impacted you? What are you doing to move forward to help people find jobs? Uh-oh. And then what we need to do is find out how people can contact him. That's my next thing. Because this is very important in this day and time. People don't understand. And you know what? Headhunters, some of them, because I tried to help somebody get a headhunting company started. That's a lot of work. There is no gratitude. It's a lot of work, just a lot of work. To matching somebody, you would think it'd be very easy. You take a skill set and match it to a job. It's not that easy. Some people were very, very good at it and managed to stick it out. That's a challenging job. So, Rakesh, how is it going in Hong Kong?
It's great here. At least I went to the city today. Busy as ever. No problem at all. I went there to do to file some tax returns and things like that. So I just did that, and then I don't normally go to the city, but it was a very pleasant surprise. Everybody, of course, wearing masks, and the discipline is amazing. I had a lovely, from Pret a Manger. I had a chicken avocado sandwich for lunch, and then I had some Indian stuff too, some idlis and stuff, South Indian snacks, and then got back home and started working on my website. Then I got a call from Flo, my wife, that she was ready to leave her office, so I went and picked her up. Then finished my 12,000 steps, and I'm here.
12,000 steps. Listen at him. Wow. That is awesome. No wonder you stay in such great shape.
I've got a slight paunch.
Yeah, I've put on a little bit of a pouch over the COVID. I call it the COVID-19. And Dr. Yu and I said, we're going to lose the COVID-19. That's our thing, lose the COVID-19. Because, I think some people were very fortunate. Somehow or another, they managed to keep that off. But that didn't happen to me. But,
I would like to ask Rakesh that do you find restaurants, serving in a different manner, or they have a different,
yes. They have separated tables. They have separated. They just put a sticky tape right across tables where they don't want you to sit. It goes from one chair to the other, across the table, and then to the other one. So you can't sit there. So you're separated, and otherwise, so you have fewer people, but the service was fine. Some restaurants don't follow that, especially in peak hours, but for most of the time they do follow it. I think because now they're taking risks because it's pretty much beaten here, so they're taking a few risks, but because they need to get back into profits. So otherwise, it's cool. There's no hassle at all. All the youngsters are out, and schools are. I think they're starting from next month.
Okay.
But their classes are on because it's all Zoom classes.
Yeah.
And so no, they're taking it in their stride. No hassle.
Question about that. In the U.S., we've noticed that the restaurants that are opening, the few that they've charged a COVID-19 fee.